talk about the downfall of TMNT Legends and talk about how the developers can bring it back. I am also going to try to explain all of this from the company's point of view as well. First thing I want to address is the community of TMNT Legends, which I certainly think could have done better. Ludia, the company that made the game, spent months and months making update text, giving the game a whole new design, adding tons of new stuff and a lot more things. Even after the update, the community also just kept complaining. It seems to me that in the TMNT Legends community, people were just hardly ever happy with the game. Or at least some people. Next up, we have to talk about what went wrong with the game. I think it was a great thing that Ludia was showing spoilers on their Facebook page about update text. That and the delays, I don't remember how many delays there were, I think kept the excitement of the game going. But now let's talk about the bad things.
Why are we still here?
The card packs in the game cost a ridiculous amount of money, and I think Ludia was too greedy. I think if they made them a lot cheaper, and that is to say, at most $20 or $30 for a pack, people would have bought a lot more stuff and the company would probably have made more money. To be honest, I'm not sure why they went with such expensive stuff, and I don't have the statistics that they do to commentate on that. Now, let's talk about the challenges. PvP tournaments and the rewards you got. For the challenges, I don't think it was a good idea to use wheels, as I think we're better off like they are now. I still think there are way too many rewards for these challenges after you have gotten the initial reward, but that's not necessary to fix, at least in my opinion. But, however, there are some challenges that they should not have removed. They most likely have a lot of statistics about the game that we don't, so they probably know which challenges were most liked by players. I personally love the Bromance challenge. I think after the game started getting boring and people have figured out all the new challenges and stuff that came with update text, they either should have made new ones or should have brought back old ones that players used to like. And also, the levels of the characters in the challenges should be based on the roster that one has, like they are in the Gauntlet. I think that Ludia have done an okay job with the daily quests. It certainly shows that the things players need most of in the game are the easiest to get. Still, having to beat level 80 Baxter Stockman is just not okay. Now, PvP tournaments. Right now, in my opinion, we have the worst version of PvP tournaments that we've ever had. These aren't even real PvP tournaments. You play against robots and you can verse characters that the person doesn't even have. The only PvP thing in this tournament is the points that we get. I think that they should bring back the old tournament except for the rewards that we used to have. I think that the current reward system in the PvP tournament is good and that it should stay. The reason that they made the PvP tournament this bad, I think, is so that nobody complains anymore, because PvP tournaments now are just easy. Let's talk about the characters in the game. I think they have done a very good job with at least most of the characters and how they have tried to balance them out. There are some characters that are a little underpowered. Also, I think an interesting idea would be for every character to have their own special ability that nobody else has. That will make the game more interesting and competitive, and I think would help in balancing the characters out. But the mistake that I think they have made is that some characters, like Nickelodeon Mikey, are just way too hard to get. Now, what I'm saying is not that every character should be as easy to get as April or Casey, but what I am saying is that sometimes they just make it too hard. Also, overall, I think that there are enough ways to get characters, even without having to beat the story mode. But really, 500 greenbacks or 2500 key coins for 5 DNA is just way too much. Buying mutagen or cheese coast is an awful value. The dojo ad that appears every time after you open a pack is just annoying. Though, if I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't really bother me, but still, it should not appear every time after you open a free card pack. And key coins at one point can become useless. Let's talk about the Gauntlet. Overall, the Gauntlet is pretty good. I still think it's a little too hard. Maybe if the enemy characters are 1 or 2 levels lower than yours, that will fix it. Also, I wish there was less RNG in the rewards that you get, but that's okay. The Gauntlet was a creative idea, and I think Ludia did a good job with it. Perhaps it would have been a little more interesting if there were more bosses, or if they changed, like, say, instead of Shredder Classic, you'd have to defeat maybe somebody from the 2003 Turtles. That would also make the storyline more complex. And speaking of the storyline, that is the next topic that I'm gonna talk about. The start of the storyline is a little weird in my opinion. Karai just wanting to help Leo, who, when she still seems to be with Shredder. Maybe if she had said that she would help him, but then they would have been enemies again, that would have made it more realistic. The opening scene is okay. I think that they could have made their meeting with Neutralizer a little more interesting. Maybe instead of for feeding, just before they were about to be defeated, Neutralizer could come and do something. Also, Christ's storyline was unfinished. I'm not sure whether this is good or bad. Another thing with the storyline is that it's very hard to keep track of what's happening and you can't check later. You have to go to YouTube or something and find it there. That probably is the biggest problem with the storyline. And finally, for the last topic, maybe, we're going to talk about support. This is Ludia's strongest point. They're very quick at responding to emails. They always help you if you lose your account or something like that. They somehow can't bring back your account. They give you stuff, you to change DNA, etc. help you in restarting your journey. Yes, restart. The last two updates of the game have been a few weeks ago, and they've been bug fixes. Update X was more than 2.5 years ago. There have been screenshots going around of Ludia saying there will be no more updates. Whether or not that's true, I'm not sure, but hopefully they see this video and give us another update. And if you want it to happen, make sure to like, email this video to Ludia, support@ludia.com. Check out the people in the description and watch the other videos on the screen right now.